You're tuned into Salt's YouTube channel, where we are having conversations around some hot topics in Christian dating. And I'm joined by Tsola today, and we're going to be talking about the experiences of people dating over 40, right?
Yes.
So I feel like because we're talking about age-related dating, we should start off by saying our ages. I was going to do this fun thing where we guess, but I actually already know your age, so it would be a lie for the camera. So
I'm a young 60-year-old.
You are a young 60-year-old,
yes.
And definitely not looking 60. I'm 36, so I'm not into that sort of 40 plus bracket yet. But what I can see are quite a lot of changes in my approaches to dating since, say, 15 years ago in my 20s. So I can definitely see that things progress and grow and your attitudes change and stuff like that. How do you think it's different for somebody when they get to sort of 40 plus when they're dating?
To be quite honest, from age 40, you start to see things differently. Obviously, because you've had a lot of life experiences, good or bad, whatever, it is, you find that those experiences shape you and kind of determine how you want to sort of live your life going forward. And with regards to dating, if you haven't had many pleasant experiences in dating, it could actually create sort of fear in you, meeting people. It could actually make you not even want to date.
Yeah.
You're probably just thinking, what's the point? I'm already a certain age. For some people, you find they don't even want to try. They don't even want to step out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
So they're just waiting for the traditional, method of meeting people. I'm just going to sit in my house. When he turns up, he turns up. Whereas there's lots of new ways, people get to meet people, like dating websites and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I just find the older you get, you're just you know what, if it happens, it happens. If someone introduces me to someone, fine. Maybe I'll meet them in church, but people are not stepping out of their comfort zone.
I guess for women, there's a bit of a shift, maybe around sort of 45, where you can pretty reasonably assume from then that you wouldn't be having biological children. So from that point on, I guess you reframe dating a little bit, because it's no longer who would be the father of my kids, and more who would be a great companion for me for the next half of my life, right? Did you notice that kind of shift in your thinking?
Most certainly, because I just said to myself, you know what, I'm not going to have kids and I'm happy. People said, why don't you adopt? I don't want to adopt. I just want a companion. I just want someone to do life with.
Yeah.
And until then, I'm happy just doing life myself with my dog until somebody comes along. But I find that a lot of people, women, as they get older, like you rightly said, they're looking for a life companion. So kids thing is out of the way. No, just bring me the man. Just bring me someone who I can travel with, someone I could leave my purpose. We work together, and just fulfill purpose together. But I tell you, the older you get, if you're not careful, if you're stuck in your old ways and you want to meet somebody, you do yourself a lot of disservice, because if you don't change your mindset, you won't get to meet people.
On the whole, by the time that friends of mine have gotten to sort of late 30s, 40s, mid-40s, they've made a decision often to live on their own if they can financially afford it, right? Whereas if you're single in your late 20s or maybe early 30s, you're more likely to be in a house share where there's compromise with other people, where, sometimes people are a bit frustrating, where sometimes that room or the TV or the kitchen's not free when you'd like it to be, or the bathroom or the shower, and you have to exercise patience with that. But increasingly, as you get older, hopefully you get a bit more financial freedom. I've seen that my friends have chosen to live on their own. And actually, I guess the longer you do that, the harder the idea of inviting in a 50-50 partner, even if it's into your flat or a whole new flat or their flat. But that sort of compromise becomes more foreign to you, right?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. The thought of it sometimes, because you're so used to being in your own space. Yeah. You're so used to doing things by yourself. I'll be honest with you, even when friends come to visit me, I'm thinking, okay, after a while, I'm like, okay, when are you guys leaving? Yeah. When are you guys leaving?
You're like, this has been fun.
Yes. Honestly, you get tired and you're just like, guys, when are you guys leaving, And then I'm thinking to myself, gosh, so when I do meet somebody, you know,
They're not going to leave.
they're not going to leave, you know.
They'll just still be
They'll
there.
just be there, you know. And I'd be like, I can't say to them, when are you leaving?
Yeah.
So I'll be honest with you, there's a little bit of like fear of the unknown, you know, having not lived with somebody. And it's like when you meet this person, when you're dating, you're not going to be living with them. But when you do get married or whatever, this person is
down
going
the
to be
line.
there 24/7, whatever it is. But guess what? You just have to deal with it when that time comes, you know, and he'll take care of it.
Yeah.
In my 20s, I wasn't really thinking marriage or anything like that. I just wanted to date.
Yeah, get to know people.
Get to know people. And like they say, when you're younger, either in school, university, or maybe through jobs, you get to meet lots of people. But as you get older, you find that the people your age are already married.
Yes, increasingly.
Exactly.
Because when you're 20, if you meet a 20-year-old man, he may have a girlfriend, but it's unlikely he's in a relationship with that level of commitment. Everyone is unmarried, you know, with different levels. Whereas if you're a 40-year-old woman, you write a list of all the 40-year-old men you know, 80% will be married.
Married, yeah. And if you come across one who's not married, sometimes you're thinking, Why aren't you married?
Why didn't you make that commitment
Why did you
earlier?
make that commitment? Yeah. And then again, if you find out they're divorced, you're probably thinking, oh, what happened? You know, again, going back to the mindset thing, as you get older, you start questioning a lot of things. You start seeing things differently based on your own experiences, based on things you've probably heard from other people. And sometimes it doesn't really help when you overthink things as well, I'll be honest with you. So like for me, in my 40s, unfortunately for me, I dated a lot of wrong people, even though they were Christians. I didn't do my due diligence. I just thought Christian, you know.
Yeah, if they go to church, they call themselves a Christian, they say grace before they eat.
And also because there was pressure as well from me. So obviously I'm from Nigeria, African background. There's a lot of pressure. Why aren't you married? When are you going to get married? Are you too picky? Are you too choosy? So you think, okay, Christian.
Yeah.
And you date. And then you get your fingers burnt because you didn't do all the right checks in. And I'm not going to apportion blame to the people I chose at the time. I'm going to look at myself as well. Did I really involve God in the situation, or was I allowing pressure make me make the wrong decisions? And as I got older, when I say older, like 50s, my 50s as well, I did make some mistakes. But God is faithful. But after a while, I just thought to myself, no, I've got to be really intentional about this thing. And it's not about me being fussy or peaking now. It's about me knowing if I want a life partner, it's got to be exactly what God says about me, his purpose for my life, somebody who's going to be rightly aligned as well with what God says about how we do life together as a partnership in marriage. I don't know if that makes sense. So right now, I'm not just looking to just date just anybody. I am very intentional about who I date. And if I don't get any dates, I will keep on waiting because I know that.
It's better to have fewer dates with people who are the right people than loads of dates with people who are never going to be right for you. I totally agree.
That's for me. I don't know about other people. I always like to say that because what may work for me may not work for other people, but this is just my decision. People say, oh, but why don't you go out on dates and stuff like that? I'm like, I really need to be sure before I step out to just meet anybody. Because otherwise I'll just be meeting lots and lots and lots of people. But at my age, and like I said, 60, I don't really want to make the wrong choices anymore.
You don't want to spend too much time travelling down the wrong road and having to come back. Yeah, I totally agree. What do you feel when you reflect on the last sort of 20 years of your dating life? Where do you feel that if you could like get in a time machine and go back and chat to like 40-year-old you, what advice would you give? Where are the sort of stumbling blocks that you think you could have avoided?
I'd say to my younger self, trust God more than you trust the world. Because I think I allowed the world dictate my journey. As in like, you're 40, you're fussy, you're picky, you're choosy. So I found I was making choices based on what I was hearing. The truth of the matter is, not everyone's going to get married. I'm so happy that I've actually come to that place where I'm like, it's not going to be the worst thing that happens in my life if I didn't get married. Do I want to get married? Yes, I want to get married.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't happen, it's not going to be the end of the world for me.
I think actually that's a really important point. And it's a point that a lot of women, particularly earlier in their sort of dating journey, can't even face the idea of.
Like I said, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Do I want it? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
But I have just reached that place in my life where I just really want to live my purpose. I just want to enjoy my life.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing. I got myself a dog, and my dog just, takes up my time. Even just sitting down and staring at the dog, I have a good laugh. Sometimes
I know that. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I even have conversations with the dog. I wonder what my neighbors think of me, but hey.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if that man comes along, he's still eating McDonald's or Kentucky somewhere, missing out on like good food.
His nutrition is going to go through the roof when he gets into the relationship with you.
Yeah. Well, if he comes along, he better come, otherwise he'll be eating Kentucky or McDonald's. Yeah. But on a serious note, I'm happy.
If somebody's watching this and they're over 40 and they've been dating for a while and they're just feeling tired, what do you think are sort of key takeaway advices for that person?
I would say to them, don't give up hope. Hold on to your hope in God. His word says he will give us the desires of our hearts. If that's what you desire, just keep hold of that. Don't let it slip away. Don't let the enemy tell you lies. Don't think I'm too old.
Yeah.
And also give younger people a chance as well. Because I find in the past I would say, gosh, I don't think I can date anyone who's younger than me. But there's some great young men out there who are very mature.
Yeah.
You meet them, you won't even know that they're younger than you.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't rule that out because I think sometimes people are just putting themselves in a box.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself in a box.
Just as for men, actually, I think that they would do well to consider dating women who are older than them. Because often women will think, oh, I'll date my age plus 10 years or something. And men will say, oh, I'll date my age minus 20 years. No, joking. Minus however many years.
Yeah.
But actually, men can be in incredibly fruitful relationships with women who are older, and women can be incredibly fruitful relationships with men who are just a bit younger.
Yeah.
So don't restrict yourself.
Yeah. But there's a limit though. I won't date someone who's 20.
Yeah, no. Yeah, within what is a reasonable, they're still very much in your stage of life.
Yes. I had a younger guy try to,
How much
chat me up.
younger?
I think it was maybe 15 years younger than me.
Oh, so he was 45.
Yes.
Hello. But still, very much like an adult, job, life, home, that sort of stuff.
But I just couldn't see
You
it.
weren't into it.
I just couldn't see it.
Shame. Shame. I think that the point on hope is really important because we're called to hope differently. We've got our hope in God, right?
Yeah.
Rather than in our human things. And actually, I really do believe that if we're pulling close to God, if we're listening to what he wants in our life, whether it ends up with a husband or a wife or those kinds of things, if we have faithfully stuck by his path, we won't look back and regret it.
Yeah.
We won't be like, I did everything God said and I really missed out.
Yeah.
I really truly believe no one will feel that way. But that may mean sacrificing some of the worldly things.
Yeah.
That we feel that we really desperately want. And that's a painful, it's okay if someone listening to that is like, oh, I'm not ready to hear that.
Yeah.
Because I think it takes time.
Yeah. Lorraine, if I have to be honest with you, when you use the word sacrifice now, I say to my friends, if I wanted to date, I could date anybody. However, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
I have decided that this is the path I've chosen. I can't compromise on the word of God anymore. If I did it in the past, I choose not to. So that's another word of encouragement I have for somebody out there. Don't compromise. Don't settle for less than what's God's best.
Yes.
Honestly,
I love that.
don't.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm saying this coming from a lady who's been there, done that. Once I was a Christian, singing in the choir, lifting up my hands and loving Jesus, and thinking, oh my God, time's slipping by. So painful. It's painful when you don't trust and just put your all in God, and you think, let me just compromise. I just want to encourage somebody out there, don't. Just wait on God, and He will give you the desires of your heart, and it'll be beautiful.
So good.
Yeah, beautiful.
So good. Oh my goodness, so much good stuff in this conversation. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that you've taken away some nuggets of joy and wisdom and hope from that. Like and subscribe for more hot topic conversations on Salt's YouTube.